Alright, I'm gonna try this out. This is the first Patreon only video that I've done. I would call this raw data. Okay, so the reason I truly want to get off of YouTube is because I'm tired of all of the wrongness created by others about things. Okay, that's the number one reason. It hurts my soul to see the volume of people following or supporting ideas that are incorrect and need revision. Okay, so any video that's ever been created on YouTube that says the truth behind insert topic is false. Okay? Like, I mentioned, what did I mention? I mentioned 2001: A Space Odyssey, and I mentioned Stanley Kubrick. And lo and behold, it's been a couple days, and in my YouTube feed, I've had nothing but Stanley Kubrick and other people's breakdowns of movies as recommendations. No, it's just the machine working its algorithm the way it's supposed to, and me as an observer seeing what is being generated. I tapped into a few, I commented on a few. I wasn't very nice, but no. Okay. I know one guy went as far as to talk about like decoding Freemasonry, and he wasn't talking about cellular mathematics, and he wasn't talking about cellular Earth, or he wasn't talking about cellular energy, or just the patterns of creation that are observable by all in all things that are all behind one common goal. Okay, and that is the inception into the masses about cellular nature of everything. Okay, cellular biology for the plants and the animals and the people. Now just imagine that the environment in which you live in is also cellular, because you live in a battery, okay? And the construction of the battery is cellular. It's different planes of the matrix kind of orchestrated in different aspects, okay? It's the plan of ET is the planet Earth that we live in. It's the understanding of observing the celestial sky and decoding them numerically in a pattern of creation via an ancient text, which, I deemed was the Bible, the King James Bible, the KJV. And if you don't know how to derive the first 56 lines of that book to equate to a numerical 9 by 9 matrix, and on, then you're not talking in truth. And if you don't know that it takes to the end of day 7 to really have a good idea of what the numbers you have created now mean, it's a start. And if you don't know that there's 126 lines on that page, then you don't know how to count. And the mathematics I'm talking about is not hard. It's just difficult to grasp because it's coming from a different point of view that you've never considered before. Okay? And I've been listening to music, okay? And I see a lot in the gematria breakdowns of the titles that I do, stuff about all, like, rap artists are going to hell or will be burned in the eternal fire of hellfire. Like, no, guy. It's really easy to slip in the hints of creation and the mathematics of the depiction of the Matrix into rap music. That's all. Okay. I literally, when I broke down the word okay, I found a capital T, and that capital T looks exactly like iced tea from Rick and Morty when he turns into a capital iced T. It's just a coincidence, right? It's the key, guy. Iced tea is the key. He turns into the key for the heart. Now, you don't know that. And I only recently discovered that. So again, while all my old videos are kind of useless, but if someone wants to see them, then go ahead and watch them, because you can see where I'm wrong. It's fun to point out where Kevin's wrong, or to point out, like, no, your interpretation of this. Like, yeah, I can see why you're this or that feeling about this topic, but, like, in the end of the day, you're ultimately wrong, Kevin. And I understand that, and it's cool. Okay, they're there for a reason. Okay, no one's going to get burned in the eternal hellfire. Okay, the creators of the code, the inceptors, they did their job. Now it's time for us to do our job to go, okay? I think there's a rule. This is the rule I think that everyone kind of doesn't understand. It's between the Jews and the Gentiles. I think I've read somewhere or heard somewhere or whatever somewhere that it is okay for a Jew to lie to a Gentile. What if all that means is it's okay for, like, someone in, like, the Jesuit order, or someone, like, knowingly in the game, okay, whatever, of deception, of inception. It's okay for them to lie to the goy because they're not allowed to flat out tell you straight up what it is, what's going on. Because if they were to do that, that means that you are now not able to be. Yeah, it's like you switch teams. Now you're no longer a Gentile, you're a Jew because someone told you the secrets of creation and you didn't come up with it on your own via inception. Maybe that's what they do at these Mason clubs, is that they don't tell them, even though it would be easy to tell them everything all at once, they don't. They sit there and they make them suffer, God. They make them work through the whatever fucking steps of Freemasonry that you think you know, which you don't. Okay, my beef with the Gematria guys, too, is that, yeah, again, like, every word has a cipher, and every cipher breaks it down to a number. But when you don't know what the numbers mean based on the cellular mathematics of the cellular nature of, the Earth, then you don't have the full picture of what those numbers mean. And if you don't know where they come from, like how arbitrary are the ciphers for gematria? It's just kind of weird. Like, everyone just takes them as truth, right? No one actually wonders where they came from. I know where they came from. At least I know where simple English and Jewish come from. And I'm pretty sure that a cube has 14 faces, 14 pieces, 6 faces and 8 vertices. Okay, so I'm assuming that there's about 14 ciphers. It's all depending on how you look at the matrix. Okay, there's different ways of looking at it. Okay, different sections you focus on, different lines that you're decoding for, different rows that you can interpret from all the columns. Okay, it's just a matter of doing literally Roman numeral bubble math on top of a matrix and seeing what you get. And a couple numbers that I find very interesting are the total number of magnets required for a cellular energy device, which is 3,858. And another number I find very interesting, I think, has something to do with the power or the output of the battery, which is 11,732. But there could be multiples of that because I found it so many different ways. Okay, and it's like looking at numbers that are given to you in a 1/3 linearity and making A's and making V's and, having the snake eat its own tail and rotating them and then reading them upside down, backwards, and flipped, or reading them straight away. There's different ways of interpreting everything. There's different layers of the Mandelbrot set. You just have to keep focus of where you are. Are you reading it forward? Are you reading it backward? Are you reading it upside down? Are you reading it flipped? Are you reading it counting? How many bubbles are you counting? You just got to keep track of your units. If you keep track of your units, which the units are in this case bubbles, then you can see a little bit more. Okay? The whole truth and nothing but the truth in the cellular mathematics of our language. Through the stories told by the inceptors in their movies, music, books. I think the news is more like a way for them to communicate with each other, okay? Literally. And gauge the consciousness of man and see where they are in their plan of inception and what, oh God, we think that, people have reached this level of consciousness, break out plan 87. Okay, tear the envelope open, pull out the plan. All right, you do this, you do this, you do this. Okay, it's no coincidence that, I've been listening to a couple albums. I really want to find them on vinyl now, okay? I've been listening to a lot of RJD2, Dead Ringer. I've been listening to Lupe Fiasco, Food and Liquor. And I've been listening to A Tribe Called Quest, the anthology, best of. And, what's one of their albums is called something like Low Frequency or something, or High Frequency. Anyway... Okay, it's just, what is it, Stressed Out. There's a song called Stressed Out. We're going to make it. We're going to make it after all. Okay? I forget who, featuring the girl who sings that. It's the chorus. We're going to make it. We're going to make the device guy. And what's the other one? It's in my liked videos on YouTube, whatever. Okay, so I'm hearing a lot of messages. It's okay, they're just really good at what they do. Okay, it's easy for them. They're quick at creating because it's very ad lib, very I do take respect in rap artists. They have a gift of putting together little words and phrases and rapping them. to a beat, which is broken down into numbers, which, they just look at the board and find out what they want to do. Okay? Or they're just so, like, they're living in truth so well that it just happens naturally to them. And when they create, there's very little modification needed before it becomes perfect. Those are my two options. This is going to be one or the other. It's all a coincidence. I think it is worked by the studio or by someone. It's worked, okay? I think some things are changed and they want to change instead of this word, use this word because, look at the math. It's a little bit better than what you chose. Oh, okay, thanks, And they're talking to us, okay? Every one of us, it's like the Christ consciousness is just a consciousnus of knowledge of the game. And then when you operate in truth and speak in truth and decode things in truth and understand that the end goal is cellular, it's like freedom. Ultimately, freedom is cellular energy, okay? It is the freedom of the monopoly corporations that control the energy market. And if we have our own energy back, maybe the lifestyle choices will change, which is good because they currently are pretty terrible, okay? And all that jazz. So, I want to make a battery. I want to make a battery, guy. I want to make a battery. A perpetual motion machine based on, the ancient Jesuit order, okay? I think I've, figured out all of Freemasonry. I understand consciousness, way far beyond anything, because everything is not to be taken literally, guy. You got to look at it from a different point of view, okay? It's Einstein's theory of relativity, okay? I'm just applying it to everything, on the fly, okay? So anyways, I think there's a lot of hidden knowledge that people should learn, okay? And I think it would change everyone's perspective, everything. Everything that's been created up to now is awesome because it's all, all the buildings and all the everything, all the music, all the movies and everything. They're just little, tests, okay? They're little, pop quizzes or, reminders, okay? Of creation. Now, I don't think that's a bad thing. So, I can only say to the creators of this stuff, what a job it must be to continuously strive towards doing that. It's slow clap. Necessary evil, guys. Just, it is what it is. So, anyways, I'm pretty cold. I just want to say some stuff. I got a lot of carpentry to do and moving and fixing and whatever, and I'll do the old movies eventually. But, until I get, one subscriber, it's not really worth my time. Okay, I actually thought about taking my iPad out and taking my matrix and overlaying it and then putting a transparent layer on top. So it's transparent so I can make digital, t-shirts and stuff. I can make printouts. So what I do with my finger is I trace out, zoom in, trace out my whole entire whiteboard. All the garbage on my whiteboard onto this transparent filter. And then, actually have that sent to t-shirt companies and have t-shirts made. Imagine walking around with your own, 9x9 matrix or, whatever. I can focus on the key and the heart. I can do a whole bunch of different pictures of creation via the matrix from, Excel and from, my hand-drawn whiteboard. But then, cleaned up and crispified using, a nice little paint program with my finger on the iPad. So that's the kind of files I'm thinking about sharing with, I got to create them, okay? I know my whiteboard is kind of ugh, but a crisp JPEG of it would be nice. I think it has enough nonsense on it right now to be copied, okay? I can make little skull and bone shirts with the little Chinese cat with the 322 and all that. I can do a whole bunch of different I can do the four suits and cards. I can do, the God particle. I can make them focus on stuff, and I can come up with a few different designs, and maybe I can even sell them and whatever, try to make revenue. Okay, guys, it's time for action, okay? Again, Faithless, the whatever, EDM artist Faithless, okay? We Come One, okay? Mass Destruction. Go listen to those songs. Inaction is a method of mass destruction, okay? It's even what is it? Inaccurate information is a weapon of mass destruction, whatever. It's he says it in the song. What does he say? He says, when you're fed a false narrative. Anyways, yeah. So that's my 15 minutes of fame, guy. So, yeah, new content. Cheers. Let's see how this goes. It's going very slowly as of now.